It's ethics. The man told Mike Pence not to certify the election. The man called the Secretary of State, or was it governor? I forget, and asked for 11,072 votes. The man has stolen from more hardworking Americans.
You were against Trump in 2016, though. You were against Trump in 2016.
Right, but he was unethical then, and he's still unethical.
And in 20, right?
That's right, but that's the whole point.
Mark Cuban is going to grill Donald Trump's personal butt kisser, Vivek Ramaswamy, on his own show.
I actually started off supporting Donald, and then I got to know him better.
When did you support him?
Like 2015. I was like, he's great. He's he's not a typical Stepford candidate. I thought that was a positive.
I would think that's a positive, right? A business guy who's pretty practical.
But then I got to know
not
him.
Ideological.
A big part of that is I didn't think he had a chance, and so I just wanted to kind of screw things up in traditional politics that I'm not a fan of.
Okay,
but the bigger
supportive. Okay, that's kind of funny.
Right. But the bigger point is Trump University. Trump Soho stole $4 million from a friend of mine that had sued to get it back. Mike Pence, 40 out of 44 people.
Just take a look at the 4 years.
And Vivek, a man who knows where his bread is buttered, tries putting an end to Cuban's preaching.
Because each of these are just going to be separate sort of personal attack rabbit holes. Look at the country in those 4 years.
No, they're not personal attack rabbit holes. They're legitimate things that actually happened.
So do you think the country, do you think the economy prospered and border crossing issues were far better under Donald Trump under those 4 years than they've been in the last 4 years? You disagree on that premise too?
No, because if you look at border cars, what was Obama's nickname? The deporter in chief. Mm-hmm. If you look at actual crossings, they were lower under Obama. And when Obama came in, they were higher, and he continued to lower them until the last couple months. On the economy, Obama took a fucked-up economy and improved it, and Trump inherited that, right? And actually, inflation grew by 25% under Trump over Obama.
Ramaswamy is trying desperately, but clearly just isn't up to the task here.
But again, that's not the core issue. You want to talk about
lives. That is a core issue. Crime and economy.
I get that. But you know what? The one certainty about the office of the President of the United States is the complete uncertainty, that you have no idea what comes next. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And so in my mind, and I think a lot of people's minds that oppose Donald Trump, is that you want somebody there that is educated on the world, but more importantly, just is ethical, right? So that they make ethical decisions. You want somebody when there is no precedent, it's never happened before. You want somebody that has hired not people who are most loyal, like Tony Soprano might have done, but hired the very best people. And those people want to stay and work for them, not that they're loyal. You want somebody whose first inclination is not to do what's in their own best personal interest.
So
right?
Can I just say,
you can't deny that's Donald Trump.
Unreal. And Vivek would try to change the subject yet again.
It's just like a CEO of a company. Would you hire somebody that has a long history of stealing from people, of being unethical?
I'll tell you,
would not, and you know it.
Is Donald Trump a perfect person? No, he is not. Am I a perfect person?
No, we're not talking about minimal imperfection.
Are you a perfect person?
No,
you're not.
No,
but we have to ask ourselves, who's the actual best president?
Have you ever stolen money?
I've never stolen money from anybody, no.
Either have I, right? Have you ever had a company?
I have no evidence to say that Donald Trump has either.
Oh, I do for sure. Ask Barbara Corcoran, right? She had to sue to get her money back. Ask anybody from Trump University. Ask people who bought condos in Trump Soho. Ask people from, Trump Foundation that gave money there. Ask people who are giving money today, and he's using that money for his legal fees. So, this isn't like a little discretion. This is a habit.
Mark,
that's why I can't support him.
Yeah. So look, I think that's less about politics and more about maybe like a criticism of one man. But that's the whole point. So look,
you were talking about ethics. You would not. Have you ever told any of your employees to short pay a vendor just to try to save some money?
No.
Either have I. Right? What do you think about somebody who does that?
At the end of the day, this was a severe schooling from the former Dallas Mavericks owner with a newfound Trump supporter in Ramaswamy.
And it's going to lead to great things. A lot of people don't give. I know a lot about overtime. I'd hate it to give overtime. I hated it. I'd get other people, I shouldn't say this, but I'd get other people in, I wouldn't pay. I hated. This is going to lead to a lot more. I think it's going to be economically positive, but I'm not even doing it for that reason. I'm doing it because like the no tax on overtime, it's something so good.
This man just admitted to working class, blue collar people that he is happy to rip them off. It's not the first time.
Here's something that just astonished me. When he was going through his trials in New York for misleading on his loan forms, right? During one of the trials, Michael Cohen got up there to testify. And he testified about how Donald Trump asked him to short pay vendors. And he was proud of the fact that he did it for Mr. Trump, as he called him, right? I don't know why, but I expected, you know how he would hold a little impromptu press conference after each day of the trial? For some reason, I thought he would come out and say, no, I never asked him to short pay vendors, right? Didn't say a word about it. Probably the worst thing you could say about a business person is he short pays his vendors. He doesn't pay what he owes. That is the ultimate arbiter of trust that you have with any business person. Do they pay you when you do work for them, yes or no? He was proud of the fact, didn't question it at all. When you rip off hardworking Americans, you are not qualified to be president of the United States of America.
Billionaire Mark Cuban has come out against Donald Trump and Republicans. Look, I'm no fan, all right? But in this election, the minority owner of the Dallas Mavericks easily takes down villains such as Trump.
Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got $1.7 billion off the price? I think they want the white guy.
He said it, not us. Speaking of business.
But he's done nothing for the small business person, right? You hear Kamala Harris talking about efficiency when it comes to starting a business. You hear Kamala Harris talking about raising the deduction from $5,000, which is a meaningless number these days in starting a business, to $50,000, right? You hear her talking about child tax credits with if you're starting a business and you can pay for child care for, your children or child, that allows you the freedom to go start a business, right? So she's talked over and over again about the economic opportunities that she's trying to create for small to medium-sized business. And she's just used the term entrepreneurs and founders over and over again. You haven't heard that from Donald Trump at all, whether he was in office or since then. That's just not in his DNA.
Cuban hits the nail on the head here.
And it's like, I've definitely been taken care of as a kid by people that weren't legal, babysitters and stuff. So there are people that maybe would like a path to citizenship that I have a lot of empathy for.
You have to start with the criminals.
Agreed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
but maybe we can.
It's very tough.
Maybe we can open our hearts a little bit to the people who are trying to be, good, hardworking Americans.
And you know what's going to happen? You're going to be in the midst of this. Now, Dwight Eisenhower was sort of a moderate, General Eisenhower. Did you know that they had 8% generals, president of the United States, 8% were generals, 92% were politicians, and then you had Trump. Mm-hmm. See, that's a wave.
We're just going to cut it off here because he just goes on and on and on, which is his specialty, claiming no one has been treated so badly in the usual shtick. One person who noticed, Mark Cuban, of course. On Twitter, he would write the following. Andrew Schultz tries to ask probably the most important question he has been asked the entire campaign. Maybe we can open up our hearts to people who are trying to be good, hardworking Americans. Then he tries to ask follow-up questions. Twice. Trump weaves, LOL, but never answers the question.